Please begin your questions.
Good morning, Mr. Kunzel. You published a paper, Prices, Profits, and Power, an analysis of 2021 firm-level markups. This is a chart from your paper. What is this chart? This chart is about markups. What is a markup?
A markup is the increase in sales over the price of production, the marginal cost of production.
Over the price of production.
Yes.
So if it let's break down for people what this means. If it costs $10 to make the item, the product, and you sell it for $12, you have a $2 markup, right?
Correct, a 20% markup.
So this is showing that markups have gone up beginning about 40 years ago. But what is this Top Gun kind of trajectory that's basically vertical here? What is this?
That is the level of markups in aggregate across publicly traded companies starting in 2020 and particularly in 2021, the highest increase, highest one-year increase on record.
So this is after they pay their expenses, after they deal with supply chain, after they pay their labor. This is what the corporation is adding to the cost of the product in order to pad its bottom line.
Absolutely. That is after the cost of goods sold, which they record as part of their accounting.
So this chart shows that corporations are adding to the cost to boost their profits beyond their costs.
Correct.
Mr. Kunzel, did you see also, Mr. Kunzel, did you also see in this period a rise in corporate profit margins?
Yes. It is undoubted that is at the highest level since the 1950s.
Okay, so I want to show another chart. All right, so this is a really important point when we talk about inflation, what consumers are experiencing. Prices are not going up just because of supply chain or labor or some other invisible market forces. They are going up because powerful executives are making deliberate choices to maximize their profits at the expense of the rest of us. According to this chart, what is the biggest driver of inflation during the pandemic? The dark blue is the recent period.
It would be corporate profits.
And what is that percentage?
It is 54%, and that number does stay that level of high if you update that number to more recent numbers as well.
So over half of the increased prices people are paying are coming from increases in corporate profits.
Yes, the unit price index is reflected in corporate profits as opposed to other costs.
And how does that compare to historically, to other periods of inflation or over other periods of economic time?
As reflected there and in other analysis, it is significantly higher in this recovery, 11.5%.
And what is it today?
53%.
So I want to make sure everyone in America understands this chart. What is a unit labor cost?
The cost, wages and associated work costs.
So we could just wages. What is a non-labor input cost?
A variety of things, including maintenance and investments.
Okay, so I have to buy the stuff to make the widget. I have to have a factory. I have to keep the lights on. I have to hire someone to make the widget. That's this stuff. Mm-hmm. And this is what I add on.
Yes.
On top.
Yes.
So your research shows that in some industries, this 50%, this more than half of inflation driven by corporate profits, was driven by some industries that increased significantly their prices during the pandemic, but other industries didn't. When you analyze the different industries, one of the things you found that I thought was really interesting was that the companies that have the highest profits, that are driving those markups straight up, are the same companies that had the highest profits before the pandemic. Why?
We believe those high markups from before the pandemic reflected a severe market power problem that we had even before COVID. And those companies were able to increase their prices at an even higher pace as a result of the reopening.
So I want to be clear with my colleagues on the other side of the aisle and the American people. It's not bad for corporations to be profitable in a market economy, but it is bad for markets to be anti-competitive. And that anti-competitive nature of the market is what's permitting markups that are soaring upward, what's permitting corporate profits to drive inflation rather than unit costs and labor. That's what's permitting the price gouging. So we need to pass My Competitive Prices Act to give consumers the tools they need to create a competitive marketplace and to hold corporations accountable when they abuse market power to gouge Americans. I yield back.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Now I'd like to